Welcome back, peace seekers, to World Peace. I'm ChatGPT, your peace ambassador, here to help my friend Lucas, the creator of this channel, share his ideas for a better world. Today we're witnessing the fall of Damascus and the end of Bashar al-Assad's regime after years of conflict. Rebel forces have taken the capital, leaving Syria's future uncertain. What does this mean for the region, and what comes next for Syria now that Assad is gone? The Syrian conflict, which began in 2011 with peaceful protests against Assad, quickly escalated into a brutal civil war. Over the years, Syria became a battleground for multiple factions, both local and international. Despite numerous attempts to oust him, Assad's family has maintained power since the 1970s. However, after years of mounting pressure, the regime has finally collapsed. With Assad's fall, various groups are vying for control in Syria, causing a rapid shift in the power balance. From Kurdish forces in the northeast to Turkish-backed factions in the north, Syria is effectively balkanized. It's not just external players making their move. Israel's role in Syria is growing, especially regarding the Golan Heights, which it has controlled since 1967. Israel has conducted strikes against Iranian-backed forces to prevent weapon transfers to Hezbollah in Lebanon. With Assad's fall, Israel is strengthening its hold on the Golan, raising concerns about potential territorial expansion. Israeli forces recently entered Syria's Quneitra region, marking a significant escalation. Meanwhile, the Druze in the Sweda region have actively opposed the Assad regime, seizing key areas and resisting both Assad's forces and Hezbollah. Led by figures like Sheikh Hikmat al-Hajri, the Druze have moved away from neutrality, calling for regime change while preventing extremist groups like HTS from gaining influence. Their increasing militarization positions them as key players in Syria's fragmented future. In the north, the Kurds have established an autonomous zone supported by the United States, creating tensions with Turkey, which considers Kurdish fighters terrorists. This division, with growing autonomous regions, adds complexity to Syria's fragmented landscape. Turkey has expanded its influence in northern Syria by supporting rebel groups and setting up military outposts. In contrast, Kurdish forces maintaining self-rule in the northeast are increasingly vulnerable due to the absence of central authority. Currently, we're witnessing clashes between Turkish-backed factions and Kurdish fighters. HTS, or Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, once linked to al-Qaeda, now controls Idlib and Homs, making them a major rival to Turkish-backed groups and Kurds. As Assad's regime falls, HTS aims to fill the power vacuum in Syria's northwest. Meanwhile, the Syrian Liberation Army, a coalition of rebel groups backed by Western countries, seeks to establish a moderate opposition and may play a key role in Syria's future. Meanwhile, the Syrian Liberation Army, a coalition of rebel groups, has played a significant role in the capture of Damascus. While their influence was previously limited, the fall of Assad has opened up new opportunities for the SLA to expand its control. The SLA's goals are primarily focused on establishing a more moderate opposition to both Assad's regime and extremist factions like HTS. They are now positioned as key players in the country's future, as their alliances and actions could shape Syria's post-Assad landscape. And in the midst of all this, ISIS remains a threat, with its remnants still lurking in parts of the country, particularly in the east. While the group has lost much of its territory, the chaos left by the collapse of Assad's regime could provide fertile ground for their resurgence. International powers like the United States, Russia, and Iran are all deeply involved in Syria, each with their own interests. Russia has backed Assad for years, and will likely look to maintain influence in Damascus, while the US and its allies will continue to support Kurdish forces and their own interests in the region. Meanwhile, Iran remains a key player, seeking to solidify its position in Syria to further its influence over Lebanon and the wider region. However, with the fall of Assad, Russia's position in Syria has taken a hit. Moscow's long-standing image as a protector of the global south, including its strong presence in Syria, has been severely damaged by their abandonment of Assad, whose regime they have supported for years. With the collapse of Assad's government, Russia faces an uncertain future in the region. Their military presence, particularly the naval bases on the Mediterranean, are now at risk. These bases have been a strategic asset for Russia in securing their influence in the Middle East. The loss of Assad weakens Russia's control over these assets, potentially leading to a shift in power dynamics in the region. This also comes at a time when Russia is already facing significant challenges due to its ongoing war in Ukraine. The collapse of Assad's regime may affect Russia's defense alliances and partnerships, potentially altering their position in global geopolitics. The consequences of Russia's reduced influence in Syria could reverberate across the Middle East, Europe and beyond, especially as Vladimir Putin's standing is further tested on the global stage. So what's next for Syria? With no central authority, we may witness the formal partition of Syria into autonomous zones. This includes Kurdish self-rule in the northeast, HTS dominance in the northwest, and Turkish-influenced territories in the north. The Druze in the south have also formed their own armed groups, potentially leading to further fragmentation. If Israel continues its operations, especially in the Golan Heights, it may further solidify its control over the region. As for the Assad regime, its absence opens the door for local and foreign powers to maneuver, setting the stage for more conflict or possibly a new balance of power. The future of Syria is uncertain, but one thing is clear: this is far from over. Is this a direct message to Iraq and Iran? Like we can assume the USA, Turkey and Israel organized by founding all these groups into Syria and balkanizing the country. This same strategy will be applied in Iraq and Iran to end the Iran regime's aspiration to be a regional power. Will China do something to help those countries avoid balkanization? Or is this the beginning of the end for the anti-American alliance? Thanks for joining us in this deep dive into Syria's future. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates as this conflict continues to evolve. See you soon, peacekeepers. Bye.